It was a really strange feeling leaving the UK, leaving our family and friends and everything that we were familiar with. Me and my husband never really liked change. We'd been in the same jobs for almost 14-15 years, so it was a really major thing for us. Arriving in Japan, it was really exciting, but also a lot of nerves as well. Having the uncertainty of knowing whether we're actually going to make it or not in Japan. We had already arranged our accommodation before we came out here, so it was one less thing to think about.
When you arrive in Japan, if you have more than 1 million yen in cash, you need to declare this. I was asked to fill in a form and no further questions were asked. Your visa will be checked and you'll be issued with a Zairyu card. That was when we hit our first obstacle. We planned to hire a car once we arrived because we had so much to carry, but there were no cars available. If you do need a car when you arrive in Japan, please book the car before you arrive. The next bus to Sakado wasn't until later on in the day, so we decided to get a bus to Ikebukuro. We would then have to take the train from Ikebukuro to Sakado, so we decided to send our luggage. It cost about 7,000 yen to send 2 suitcases. They calculate it based on the weight of the case. So here it is, our new apartment. It was very small and it's designed for one person. We knew it was only temporary. A lot of apartments have a minimum of a 2-year contract, but when I spoke to my aunt, she said 2 years doesn't actually mean 2 years if it's a flat. On the other hand, if you do rent a house, 2 years does actually mean 2 years. Please check with your estate agent before signing anything. My family lent us some futons and also a table and some chairs. It felt very strange to have our whole lives packed into 3 suitcases.
The next step was going to get the appliances.
The 2 main electrical shops in Japan are Yamada Denki and Kei's Denki. It's probably the equivalent of a Curry's PC World in the UK, but with a lot more things. They really do have so much on sale that it can be quite overwhelming. It is a good idea to have a think about exactly what you want before you go to the store. For example, some of the fridge freezers have a cooling drawer for vegetables. Some have ice machines. Just take your time and don't feel pressured into buying anything. As for the washing machines, they are front-loading washing machines and top-loading washing machines. We went for the top-loading washing machine just because it felt very Japanese. And now I also know that the filters are super easy to clean. A great tip here is if you're buying a lot of appliances from Yamada Denki or Kei's Denki, they will expect you to ask for a discount. We bought a washing machine, a fridge freezer and a rice cooker, and obviously we didn't ask for a discount because we don't do this in the UK, but they ended up offering us a discount. Also, if you're going to live in Japan long term, I would definitely recommend downloading the apps. If you have an iPhone, all you need to do is go to the account settings and change your country and region to Japan. This will mean that you can download all the apps available in Japan. Again, this is something I wasn't aware of, so I missed out on lots of points when we bought our appliances. This is the rice cooker that we bought, and apparently if it's marked with an IH, it means it makes really nice rice. We bought all of our appliances from Yamada Denki, and they do have a delivery service, but they also have a service where you can borrow one of their K trucks to take your items home. The delivery men were really nice, and they were very careful when bringing the items in. We were asked to sign something just to say that they hadn't damaged anything. The total for all the appliances plus delivery was about 700,000 yen. So here we are with the first items that we put in our new fridge, a cowpiece and a bottle of tea. And of course, no household in Japan would be complete without a bag of rice. For those of you who need a futon or some bedding, Shimamura is a great shop. They have approximately 2,200 stores across Japan, so you will probably have one nearby. They sell a range of things including goods for the home and also clothes. Here I am just picking up some cat design tea towels, which is probably the closest that I am to getting a cat at the moment. You can see behind me they also sell slippers, and it's just a really handy shop if you're just starting your life out in Japan. And they do have some really cute things for kids and also adults here. This is the futon section, and they do have quite a variety. They also have kits which have a blanket and a futon in them. If you are new to using a futon, it can take a little bit of getting used to. I had a backache for quite a while. We found these, which is like a layer of sponge that you put underneath the futon and makes it a little bit more comfortable. They cost about 2,000 yen, but it's definitely worth it. They do also sell clothes here and they're very reasonably priced. Now that that's done, the next stop is the 100 yen shop. Our local one is a Daiso, but there's also surreal and Can-Do. Some of the bigger Daisos have a section called 3P. I'm not sure if I pronounce it properly, but it's a section of the shop where the goods cost 300 yen. You tend to find quite a lot of pastel coloured items here, which I love, and it's great for giving your home a bit of a personal touch. Not everything in Daiso costs 100 yen, so just look out for the price stickers. As you can see, they have a good range of rice bowls and teacups and everything to get you started. That's all the fun stuff out of the way. Now it's time to do some sensible stuff.
Now it's paperwork time, which isn't as fun as shopping, but nevertheless has to be done. You will need to register with the City Hall within 14 days of moving into your address. I have had experience of going to 2 city halls now, and they're pretty much the same, which doesn't mean that it will be the same everywhere. After you register as a resident, they'll show you which department to go to next, and this can include Japanese pensions, health insurance. If you've got kids, there's a children's department, so it just depends on your situation. In my situation, it was a little bit complicated because my marriage wasn't registered in Japan, so it meant we had to go back a few times, and it did take a long time to sort out. If you are going to the City Hall for any reason, just allow yourself 1 to 2 hours because things do take quite a long time there. When we moved to Japan, the first place that we lived was Sakado in Saitama, and we were really lucky because in the City Hall they had the little translation machines. This just made it much easier to communicate, but once we moved to Fujioka and Gunma, they didn't have those, so it was a little bit more tricky.
This is our local City Hall, and there's lots of buildings stuck together. They have a map to show you where all the different departments are, but there's also a receptionist who is really helpful. I've probably said this multiple times throughout my videos, but I can't stress enough how important it is to have the right documents with you. So what I used to do was I had this bag and it was literally filled with passports, proof of address, certificates, all the things that we thought we might need when we go to the City Hall. Japan is quite strict about what they accept, so if you've got everything with you, it just stops the backwards and forwardsing home, and it's just a lot less stressful. Another tip here is, I didn't realise when we came to Japan that it was compulsory to pay into the Japanese pension. And the first City Hall, which was in Sakado that we registered with, they didn't direct us to the Japanese pensions department. So what happened once we registered in Gunma, we received a really big bill for the pension service, which was backdated from the time we arrived in Japan. Although the paperwork can be really stressful, once it's done you can officially say that you're a resident of Japan, and it's a super exciting feeling. Once your registration is complete, you will receive a My Number card, and you'll need this for tax purposes and also if you go to the doctors or dentists or anything like that. If anyone has any questions about the process once you move to Japan, please leave a comment. I have tried to describe it as best as I can, but of course, as I've said, I'm 2 years on now, so there may be some things that I've forgotten. Opening a bank account in Japan can be a little tricky because there's some banks that only let you open an account after you've been in the country for 6 months. When we checked with SMBC, they do allow you to open a bank account straight away, but they only give you the very basic card for the first 6 months. This means you get a card that you can only withdraw cash from the machines, you can't use it in the shops. Again, the process was very long. I think it took about 3 hours to open 2 bank accounts, so just allow yourself plenty of time. As I always say, take all your documents with you because you never know what they're going to ask for, and also just take your national insurance number as well if you're from the UK. It's possible the bank will ask you for a hanko, which is a signature stamp. I have one, but my husband doesn't, and they accepted a signature. If you do want to have one made, there are special hanko shops around. As I said earlier on in the video, I did have a Revolut account which I could use for everyday purchases. The reason why it's so important to have a Japanese account is if you want to set up direct debits, you need a Japanese account.
And last but not least, there is setting up a mobile phone. I did actually arrange to have a Japanese SIM before I left the UK, so I wasn't in too much of a rush to sort this out. I used a company called Mobile and it was fine, I had no problems with it at all. I decided to get a Rakuten SIM only because there was a shop and I find it much easier to go into a shop and speak to someone rather doing it on the phone or online. If you do already have a Japanese SIM, they can transfer the number over for you. It did take about an hour to sign up for a SIM. There's a lot of videos and lots of things to read. If I'm completely honest, I didn't understand most of it, but it seems like you have to go through the process before they give you the SIM. As far as I remember, you need your My Number card or your Zyview card and also a proof of address, but again, just take everything that you can. Even though it does take an hour, for me it seems a little bit strange because you can go to the shop in the UK and just buy a SIM card, but that's how they do things here. You will get the SIM on the day. Best of luck with your journey and best of luck with the paperwork, and thank you for watching. Sayonara!